You're listening to Arizona Good Business Radio, featuring unique stories with leaders who believe the community is a central part of doing business. Join us on the journeys of entrepreneurs, local businesses, and champions of Arizona who believe working together, we can build stronger communities.
We got a little head nodding going on, right?
Oh, yeah. That's a good intro.
Nice beat. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. I'm Thomas with Local First Arizona. We're super excited to be here today, and we're ready to rock. This is Arizona Good Business Radio, where we feature leaders throughout the Arizona business community working to build a lasting impact. Local First, if you don't know, is a statewide organization advocating for celebrating local businesses, and we're the largest local business coalition in North America.
Woohoo.
And yeah, woohoo. We provide resources to small businesses while raising awareness of the benefits of building a strong economy. Super excited to be here today because we have two people who I've worked with, maybe 6 years now, something like
it really
that.
has been
Time
that long,
flies.
yeah.
And I first was introduced to Isaac and then met Kim, and they are both the CEO and founder and COO of Localfi SEO Digital Marketing. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Oh, thank you so
Hello.
much.
Thank you
So
for
excited
having
to be here.
us.
It's
Yeah.
weird being in person.
It totally is.
Like 99% of our interactions have been, I feel, virtual, besides like our first meeting.
Right. Do you remember
well-
what we look like from like shoulders down?
You look the same.
That's
So,
great.
That's great.
Thank you.
Well, I remember we went out together in Tempe when they were building the
The
new
light
line,
rail.
and we went to every single business, and I
gosh,
was
yeah.
like helping them figure out how to use the Google Maps
That's
to
right.
like direct people while the construction was going on.
Yeah,
It's definitely a minute ago.
and
Yeah.
now that was when the streetcar construction was
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on, and which was maybe 6 to 8 months before COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so didn't even know it was coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, Localfi, we want to hear it from your mouths, of course, what you do. But I will just say, has been a great partner of Local First, and you two are the experts, if I was ever to find one, on how a business can get found online.
Yeah.
Like,
Simply put.
all the answers are in these two minds right here. And Isaac and Kim, and we'll dig into it, have done incredible work to help a ton of businesses throughout Arizona, especially through the pandemic, and helping them make sure that they were reaching their customers through all the changes that were happening and everything. But I want to start, and I'm going to look over to you, Isaac, because you've always told this really great story of I believe it's your father who owned a business, and how it inspired you to help him, and that's what drove Localfi to be created. So could you
Yeah.
tell us what that story is?
So my father is an incredible and very unique gentleman. So
No way.
Yeah. So I grew up. He ran the International Mask and Puppet Museum in Syracuse, New York. And so I grew up from a very young age, around 2 years old, being on stage because he had a theater company, and then he also ran a circus camp. So
Wow.
I can say I'm a professional juggler because I've made over $10,000 from juggling in my life, mostly
And
teaching.
stilter
Okay.
But,
and
um,
all the other things.
So, with what I saw with my dad, though, is, he was so passionate about the arts and the theater and everything. But as his company grew, he had to spend more and more time on the marketing side of things. He had to get the donations, he had to get the grants, he had to get all of these different things. And he got a bit separated from what his real passion was, which was the arts.
Mm.
And so that's where I really saw a huge opportunity here, because I really believe that, these locally owned businesses are the cornerstone of every great community in America.
Mhm.
And they're great because they're so passionate about their skill sets. They're usually not super passionate or super know-how about marketing because that's not their
Nor
key
should they
skill
be.
sets.
Yeah.
So that's where I thought Localfi really had a great niche in helping these people do what they do best and focus on what they do best, and helping communities because we're helping these businesses.
Amazing.
So yeah, that was really kind of the foundational
Yeah.
thought of why we wanted to do and build a company that helps locally owned businesses.
Very
Side note,
cool.
Isaac can still juggle very well.
It's like, give us just 1 second. Cool. No, I love it. And I love hearing your passion behind it too, because your passion drives other people to have their passions, and it's all a big circle and community minded. So I love it. Kim, where did you come in to the equation? Because you
Where did I
you
pop
both
in?
really complement each other in running the business. So
My
tell us
background
about your
is
background. Yeah.
significantly different
Yeah.
than Isaac's. So ever since I was a kid, I actually wanted to work in the veterinary field,
Mm.
which I set my mind to something and I did it. So even before anybody else graduated, I had already had a degree and a license in veterinary medicine and did that for 8, 9 years.
Okay.
But one thing I found that I was really excellent at, which I didn't even know was a skill of mine until Isaac pointed it out years later, is I'm awesome at building systems. I
Cool.
love everything that has to do with systems and checklists and troubleshooting. Like, just when people know what they need to do, everything runs smoother, it's more consistent, duplicatable.
Yeah.
There's probably business owners listening. You don't need me to tell you this. You
Yeah.
know if things
Yeah.
work better. So, really, I moved from Indiana to Arizona. Isaac moved from New York to Arizona. And we actually met at a sand volleyball meetup group
Okay.
because, we don't have any friends here. And meetup, I didn't know that was a thing. That's awesome. And we met, and he really introduced me to this magical thing called entrepreneurship,
Hmm.
which I had never heard of before. So once I got a taste of that, we really figured out, okay, how can we build a business, backwards? We know what kind of lifestyle we want to live and travel and who we want to help and what our skill sets were. And then we built Localfy in 2018. And I was really able to pull all those juicy systems out of Isaac's head
Yeah.
and put them down on paper. And then we were able to bring on team, and the team knows exactly what they need to do. And now us as the business owners are freeing up our time and can actually work on the business.
Yep.
Or we can live the Localfy lifestyle and travel more. And even better, we can help impact way more local businesses if it's more than just Isaac and Kim running the show.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that is such a cool way to envision running a company. And I know that through ebbs and flows through the years, obviously things change. And I know this year you guys are a little bit more stationary, and I know you've traveled the world before, which is really cool. But tell us a little bit about what you actually do. I mean, I
Uh,
feel like SEO is a term that everybody hears all the time and
hmm
knows it's important, but maybe not everybody really understands it. What is it
yeah.
that Localfy is doing for
Well, and the
businesses?
other thing is every business owner is getting 2 or 3 emails a day.
Yeah.
Sir, hello, madam, or sir, we found issues on your website.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, what I really realized when I really started looking into this is that I was finding all my businesses on Google Maps. I was typing in chiropractor near me, restaurants near me, all of these different types of terms, but no one was optimizing the Google Maps. It was just like whatever Google had populated. And so I actually, the first business I ever did, I didn't know what I was doing. I went to a chiropractor and I was like, "Hey, can I try optimizing your Google Maps and seeing what happens?" I
Mhm.
probably didn't say optimizing because, and he was like, "Yeah, okay." And so I did it. And within 3 months, he had so much new business. He had to bring on another chiropractor. Then he had to create a waiting list and start sending people to other offices because he just couldn't handle all the
Oh
business.
my gosh.
And so that was when I was like, "Oh, this is really making an impact on
Something
these
here. Yeah.
local
Mm.
businesses."
Yeah.
So I continued to do that for about 3 or 4 years before I met Kim, and I was just doing it, like, when I found a business I liked. I was like,
hmm
"Hey, I have this thing that really can make an impact on you. Can I do this?" But once Kim and I started, partnering together and building the business, what she was able to do was take all these systems I had in my head
Mm.
and document them and put them into action so that we could duplicate them, so we could hire people to help us duplicate them. And as Kim alluded to, the impact we've been able to make because of the systems we put are
Yeah.
huge. I mean, I was at the point when we started helping a couple businesses, probably 5 or 6 businesses a year with this.
Mm.
Now we're helping 30 to 50 businesses a year, and we donate our services to non-for-profits every year.
Yeah.
We've been able to help Local First out a lot in a
Yeah.
variety of ways. I mean, just the impact is so much huger, and it's all because of these systems that were just stuck in my brain that I just didn't have like the understanding how to like get out of my brain and onto a documented system.
But you
Yeah.
make a good point, Isaac. Like, the thing is, when a local business can actually be found online,
Yeah.
they're able to make a bigger impact beyond what they're capable of too.
Right.
It's not just like going around door to door, "Oh, let me tell you about my local shop." It's like, no, when that's a couple people talking about it versus how many thousands of people are finding you online, and then they're like, "Oh, this person, I don't know if I can trust this," or, "Are the hours correct? Look at that crappy photo."
Right.
There's
Right.
things on there that they sometimes just don't even realize is online.
Yeah. I realized something really interesting recently as well. I was talking to a marketing person for a tourism group, and they were talking about how they work to enhance the SEO of, people coming to the area and that sort of thing. And they were talking about how they were trying to work with the bars and the breweries to get people who were like coming into town for events and stuff. And they actually worked in words into their SEO that were misspelled because
Mm.
they were guessing that maybe if somebody went to, have, 18 rounds of golf, and maybe they were, a few
Drinking,
drinks in,
golfing.
if they were looking for the local pub, maybe they didn't spell it right. So it's actually, I mean, those aren't things you think about is if you're like running a business, you're just thinking, I want to be great at what I'm doing. I want to work my craft. I want to hire great people,
Right.
but I don't know all, I'm not thinking about all these like details of like how people are searching for me online.
You
So it's,
also didn't go into business to be like, I want to be the best marketer. No,
yeah,
man, you want
yeah,
to make your burgers. You sell your goods and really help people with what you're great at.
yeah, yeah. So it's great to just have experts and partners like you who can come in and say, hey, let us partner with you. Let us help you figure out all those things so that you can just run the business.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And honestly,
yeah,
real quick too, I realized we didn't like fully explain what we do. I mean, you did say Google Maps, right, Isaac? But
it's one
essentially,
piece. Yeah.
yeah, it's one piece of the puzzle. We help local businesses look and rank well on the major local listing platforms like Google Maps, like Yelp. TripAdvisor is another huge one, right?
Sure.
The thing is, as all of us have, we've all used Google Maps before. We search, Mexican food near me, and what comes up in a normal Google search is 3 Google Maps options and then the first website.
Mm-hmm.
But the first website is usually not really a person's
It's almost
website.
always Yelp.
Yeah, it's like
Mm.
Yelp or TripAdvisor. So that map pack, that top 3 Google Maps section, gets about 50% of the clicks.
Okay.
And that first website, which isn't even your own website, it's like Yelp or something, gets like 12% of the clicks.
Mm.
So what we're able to do is really drive the organic traffic, meaning like we don't do paid ads. Paid ads can be great in the right situations, but what we're really doing is like creating long-term marketing assets.
Yeah.
If we create it now for you, it's going to continue to serve your business and drive quality leads for the lifespan of your business.
Yeah.
With paid ads, it can be great, but what happens when you shut the ad off? It stops
Yeah, it's
driving you
gone.
business.
Plus, also like people are smart. Like if I'm, I don't know, looking for a service and I go on Google and like I know that the first thing is going to be an ad. So
Well,
Yeah,
like, what am I really looking for? I kind of look a little deeper than like the first thing that
I
pops
think
up.
we all
most
And
of
do
the time,
nowadays
right?
too.
So
most
yeah.
millennials have ad blockers as well.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't
So
see
Oh, I
ads.
gotta learn how to do that.
Oh
No,
my
I'm
gosh,
kidding.
yeah. Oh gosh.
No.
Let's get you up to speed, man.
No, I think that's great, and I've witnessed, a lot of help you've been able to provide. We were talking about the Tempe Streetcar Project and how
Mhm.
Isaac you came in and helped those businesses right before the pandemic, but also through the pandemic, you came in and were providing workshops and tutorials because everything changed. Everybody was doing,
Yeah.
to goes and pickups, and that is just a different world. And now we're back to an environment that I think is still different for the restaurant industry, which
Oh
is
yeah.
still a lot of to-go orders. Like I walk into a place and half the orders are people picking them up rather than people coming in to, order
Mhm.
themselves. So how have you seen the dynamics of helping businesses in this space now change into, we're halfway through 2024. What is it like
Wow.
trying to be found online?
What a
I
question.
can only imagine
Yeah.
it's just continuing to be very, very challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's this year has been very challenging across the board. I mean, a lot of businesses are really struggling. There's been a slowdown in spending across the entire economy.
Mm.
And so, getting listed online and getting those great reviews and that credibility because you're fighting for a limited amount of dollars being spent right now.
Yeah.
So it makes such a big impact. The other major thing that's happened is AI. And what's really interesting right now is Google is actually losing market share for the first time in 2 decades.
Mm.
Right.
And so they're changing their algorithms massively to try and figure out how can we compete with Bing, who has at this point a better AI system.
Oh,
Mhm.
interesting.
And Google's launching their AI system. It hasn't been super smooth yet, but they're figuring it out as they always do.
They're working on
Yeah,
it.
I heard something about how to keep cheese on your pizza. You need to add glue or something.
What?
Yeah, they're
What a
rolling
weird
it out
phrase.
Yeah.
before it's quite ready because they
Yeah.
want to be competitive.
Yeah.
And again, Google will figure it out. They're very good at adapting and everything.
But that's the thing. You also like you and local businesses may not recognize Google is always changing.
Right.
Just in the last 10 years alone, let alone in the last year, Isaac?
Yeah.
Like you used to have a whole backend platform with Google My Business.
Yeah.
You don't. You used to have a phone app. Now you don't. You used to have XYZ. Now you don't. Now they just got rid of Google business websites,
Mm.
which is huge. All these businesses and even local First Arizona, we've talked to some of your entrepreneurs and
Yeah.
they're like, I can't find my website. I set up an appointment with you. Can you help me figure out what the heck happened? I'm like,
It's
it
gone.
doesn't exist.
Wow.
And it's
Yeah.
gone.
Wow.
Right. So now
So
these businesses also, that used to be a free tool that Google would provide, and now it's gone. So they have to
Wow.
figure out, what do I do? I
Mm.
don't know how to build websites. I don't
Yeah.
have 8 grand to drop on a website.
Yeah.
What do I do?
So,
Mhm.
that's,
Mhm.
again, all good businesses need to be able to pivot and adjust. We just started offering simple one-page websites
Okay.
for a very affordable rate, just so that we can help a lot of these companies.
Cool.
Because the thing with websites is most locally owned businesses do not need a huge built-out website.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
website isn't like it used to be in terms of like you're not actually driving traffic to the website through web searches. For local businesses, people are finding you on Google Maps, Yelp, TripAdvisor, these platforms. Then they're going to your website to find additional information and to convert to a customer.
Yeah.
So your
Who are
website,
you? What's on your menu? Yeah.
yeah,
Like
the
those
Yeah.
website
little
really has to
details.
be
Yeah.
more of a conversion factor than a traffic driving factor.
Mhm.
And for most businesses, and here's kind of a pattern interrupt we like to throw out there, is that most businesses spending money on your website SEO is a money pit. You're
Mm.
not going to see a return. And
Mm.
almost every
Mhm.
client we talk to has come to us saying, I spent all this money on SEO and we never saw a result.
Yeah.
And it's almost always because they were spending money on the website SEO. Not to say website SEO can't be effective. We have several clients here that we're ranking nationally.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
work with UND Aerospace.
The flight school. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
UND Aerospace Foundation. It's a flight training center
Here in
in
Mesa,
Mesa.
one of the best flight schools in Arizona. And so we're helping them rank nationally because they're
Mhm.
bringing clients from all over the US. So
Mhm.
in their case, it makes sense to do both website and local SEO.
Okay.
But for restaurants and that kind of stuff, usually the local SEO is going to turn way better ROI. And, you do have to do some stuff on your
Mhm.
website, but not like all of the stuff that all these SEO companies are trying to sell you
But
on.
Yeah.
think about it anyways. Like, if you build the fanciest, schmanciest website ever, how are people going to find that if you're not
Yeah.
doing anything else? They're like, well, I have this beautiful website I spent thousands of dollars on, and nobody's sending traffic to it. So
Sure.
you're not going to see it anyways.
Sure.
Almost, I mean, what, 90+% of the time, we usually tell people to start with local SEO and not website SEO.
Mm.
Local SEO and what we do is really our bread and butter, drives a higher ROI, like return on investment, than we've seen with like any other marketing avenue.
Mhm.
And again, it
Consistently, yeah.
serves you for a long time.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you invest in that first and start seeing results in like 2 to 4 months versus website SEO, where most SEO companies are like, you may see results in 6 months or a year. We're not sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, get something that works first.
Yeah. Be good at what you do and don't focus on all the fancy stuff, but just get people in the door if you can. It's cool to kind of think of
Mhm.
it. I love how you described as the website as a conversion tool, like because
Mm.
every business owner can think about, the lead funnel of trying to find people. I know who I want to come into my business. How can I get their attention? But using that website as a turnkey, like convincing them, yeah, where you want to spend money is
Right.
kind of a cool way to think about it.
And it's
Yeah.
especially great for like home service industries, right? Like plumbers and electricians, landscapers,
Yeah.
the pool companies. I find you on Google and I'm like, oh, this looks legit.
Yeah.
Instead of calling them, because some people are weird about calling people nowadays, they're just
Gen
gonna,
Z.
yeah, right.
Yep.
Then you're gonna go to the website and click the book my appointment button.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like Isaac said, it's a conversion tool. I just
Yeah.
want to book it and move on.
Yeah. Makes me laugh. Makes me think of the meme that it's a screenshot of going to the gas station. It says, please see cashier. And then
Uh-huh.
the subtitle says, I'm leaving the gas station and driving to another one.
Oh my gosh. I have to interact with
I know, it's
humans.
just so wild. It's just so insane. But no, I appreciate what you all do so much and would love to hear, like, have you seen any other success stories, any businesses that you've worked with over the years that were really struggling to try to figure it out and you've been able, I know you probably have dozens, but
Yeah.
would love to hear, are there any local businesses that you love that you were able to really help out, whether it was through the pandemic or any other
Yeah.
times?
Yeah, I mean, the first one that pops to mind is Flancer Sandwiches,
Oh,
who
yeah.
actually
Yeah.
met us through one of the webinars we did at Local
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
And Jeff Flancer, an awesome guy, and we really helped him navigate through the pandemic, which
Mhm.
obviously was a very challenging time for both his locations. And once we were able to get through the pandemic, and again, he was seeing growth through this whole time period, and he was able to then sell his businesses and retire, and
Wow.
And
you
get
know,
married. He's
yeah,
having a good time.
and Flancers is still holding strong with the new owner, which is
Good.
awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, we actually just had a business meeting there a couple weeks ago.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Um,
it's great.
so
Honestly.
that was a really cool story.
I want to share too.
Kim
Yeah.
has a story.
I raised my hand. But honestly, like through all the local businesses, I have tons of stories. One that I really want to highlight actually is one of the nonprofit organizations that we've been able to help. One of the earlier on ones, it was One Tree Planted. And you guys may have heard you donate or you pay $1 that's equal to like donating a tree.
Mm.
And they plant trees all over the world where it's needed most. When we first helped them, essentially, they looked okay online, but not great, right? And when you can look okay, really great online as a nonprofit, you're getting more volunteers, you're getting more donations, et cetera, et cetera.
That
So
they were
when,
kind of missing the trust factor. There wasn't
yeah,
a good place
Okay.
to go and see all the reviews, and so a lot with non-for-profit, you say, is this
is it
trustworthy?
legit?
Is my money being donated to do
Yeah,
good things?
Got it.
I did all the research and could clearly tell, yes, this
Yeah.
is, but there
right. It
wasn't
wasn't
that. It
clear.
wasn't in your face.
Uh-huh.
Gotcha.
So we help them really optimize their online presence. They look awesome on Google now. And very shortly after, I think it was a month or two after we started working with them, they got a massive millions of dollar donation from an Earth fund,
Wow.
which was incredible. Not only that, guys, wait for this. Like, what was it? They were planting 10 million trees a
When
year?
we started working with them, their goal was to plant 10 million trees that year.
Okay.
Okay, fast forward just a couple of years. I think like 3
It's
years
been
or
like
so.
3 years.
They just planted in 2023 51.9 million
Wow.
trees all over the world. I have
Wow.
goosebumps every time I say it.
That's
But like,
cool.
talk about a really insane impact. And this has a global impact.
Yeah,
Like
that's
helping
cool.
people. Oh, that was
That's
a big
great.
one. That was a good one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. And I also, just to circle back on the Flancer story too, that's really cool because we're talking about the circular nature of businesses staying. And like, we saw a lot of businesses close over
Mm.
COVID. And a lot of the times it's because they don't have anywhere to go or they're not planning for that succession. But to know that Flancers was doing well enough to take a pause and say, okay, how can we keep this open and I retire and make sure all these staff, stay employed
Yeah.
and like we keep the tax revenue here, which contributes to our economy and,
Mhm.
our roads and our infrastructure. Like, and that's you playing a small piece in making sure that those businesses stay open. So that's huge for just looking at the circular nature of how all these things come right back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And one of the things we were really proud about during the pandemic is not a single one of our businesses had to close their doors for good.
Yeah.
And
Not even
most of them
temporarily.
accelerated out of it. Many of them opened up either they moved to a larger location or they're able to open a second location. And what really happened in the pandemic and still now is kind of the word of mouth advertising decreased a bit because people weren't interacting face to face as much. But the
Mhm.
online word of mouth advertising, which is those reviews that you capture on Google Maps and these other platforms, that
Mhm.
accelerated.
Sure.
And that trend is still here. I mean, it's not going away. I mean, word of mouth is still super powerful, but when you can then turn that into word of mouth advertising online,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you're just hitting so much more people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So if I'm a business out there, I don't know anything about which we haven't even actually spelled out the acronym SEO, search engine optimization.
Yeah.
For
Good
those that
job.
don't even know that, which is totally fine. I mean, there's so many things that, I don't know. But if you're like, I don't even know what to do with this, like I'm just trying to run my business, I'm just trying to, drive some revenue. What are a couple of things that you'd recommend a business do? Is
Yes.
there any like you gotta do this?
So the
Mhm.
first couple things, one, check out to see if you have a Google profile already, right? Because what happens with
Mhm.
Google My Business is if you're a business for long enough, it finds you and it populates a listing for you.
Oh,
Sometimes
know,
a couple.
And so, a lot of times we'll be talking with clients that don't even know they have a Google My Business listing, and I show it to them, and it's like the picture is the front of their house.
Right.
you
So
know?
essentially go to google.com/business
okay.
and then type in your business name.
Oh.
If you have multiple profiles, that'll pop up. And if you don't own it, it'll say unclaimed, or anybody willy-nilly person can go and claim your profile and pretend to be you,
Oh,
which
interesting.
also sucks. It doesn't happen
Yeah, I
super
mean,
often, but people all the time, Google or users can simply suggest edits to your profile, which is part of what we help with is protecting your data too.
Yeah.
Because, nothing's worse than like showing up to a place and being like, dang it says they're open online, but their doors are shut.
Gotcha.
That just makes me mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, making sure that you either create a profile or capture a profile is huge. Starting to collect reviews
Mhm.
is huge
Mm.
because the online review system now is how a lot of people make their choices. And then one thing a lot of people miss is to write content about your different services.
Yes.
So a lot of people, a painting company, for instance, we worked with, they were on the East Coast and they wanted to fill the winter time because they couldn't do exterior painting at all during the winter.
Mhm.
but they didn't talk about interior painting at all on their website or on their profiles.
Right.
Right. And so that happens a lot with businesses, is that they don't actually talk about all the different services that they have. And so it's really looking at what services do we want to grow? What services do we have additional capacity that we can actually bring in more business on?
Yeah.
And then writing content about that and putting it on your website. Now, there's specific ways that I'm not going to go into on the show to do it to get the best optimization, but at least talking about it on your website and on your local profiles, all the different services that you want actually offer is huge.
Sure. Yeah. What about and this is just like a selfish question, but like photos, because
I literally was
I
thinking
know
that in my head.
yeah, well,
Good
like
job.
we are such a visual,
Yes.
we're visual creatures. We need to see, we can't just hear it or read it. We need to see what's the vibe, what
Yeah.
does the burger look like all these things.
Yeah.
And we are performing less and less and less clicks, right?
Uh-huh.
And so sometimes I even find myself like, if I want to see what a restaurant is like, I won't go to the website and look at the menu. I'll click on like menu on Google and view menu or whatever to like see like a screenshot. Like, what does it really look like? Is it
Yeah.
dirty, or is it, like nice? Like, what vibe is this place? And so how do you recommend, getting the right photos up there and that sort of
Yes.
stuff?
And it's funny because literally Google has a category that says vibe. So
Yeah,
that's what you
that's why I
That's
figured
right.
you said
That's right.
that.
That's why you click on it and you can see what the restaurant. Because
Yeah.
I like to look like, does it have a patio? You
Yeah.
know, or
Or is
that
it good
kind of
for
stuff.
business meetings? Like, is it
Sure.
lighting too dark or something?
So yeah,
To answer your question though, whether you're working with a marketing company or not right now, you should absolutely have a system in place on taking photos. Google actually used to have different categories you could upload to. Team category, it's
Mm.
great to have photos of you being personable and you with a team. Am I working with a one-man show over here, or do you have a team to support you? Like,
Mm.
makes you look more legit.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in front of a branded vehicle or your office, or you have branded clothing. That's one. At work photos are also spectacular because, again, it just makes you look more professional, especially like home service industries. Are the landscapers happy while they're like ripping
Yeah.
up my sod,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Also, like client photos, especially like real estate or something, smiling with happy customers, or
Yeah.
somebody digging into that burger you just found. And
so
especially restaurants too, singling in on what are those really popular food items or the fancy drinks like cocktail bars. I want to see, if I'm paying $20 for a cocktail, you better show me how cool that looks
Yeah.
before I buy it,
Sure.
right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we actually implemented a system for us in Localfy that can make sure anytime we see a client, we get pictures with them.
Yes.
Because it was just like we were forgetting to do it. It's so
Mhm.
easy to forget. So,
Yeah.
Guess what, Thomas? We already have some pictures with you
Yeah.
today.
There you go.
Me
You know?
too.
So we've literally built it
Uh-huh.
into just our regular systems. And it's
Yeah.
like once you build something into a system, you don't have to remember it. It's just part of
More of
your
a habit.
natural.
Yeah. And I think it's a good reminder that as a small business, you can be scrappy with how you get things done. You don't need to pay a
Mhm.
professional photographer for everything. Maybe it's good for some very specific photos that you want to capture of your
Yep.
business that you're going to use for a long time.
Your phones
But
are
if-
darn good
Yeah,
nowadays
if you want to
too.
just
Whether
capture a
it's
few things, you
yeah,
definitely can do it
Android,
yourself.
iPhone, it's just fine. And honestly, a really big tip too, we're so used to like social media culture of holding the phone vertically and like snapping a picture. In Google world and like optimizing your online presence, you actually want to have your photos horizontal.
Mm.
It appears better. They have their own specifications,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
but that is a nice little tip for any business
And-
owner. If you just upload like 2 to 3 photos per month, especially on Google, if you can on Yelp or other local listing platforms too, that's actually really helpful for SEO.
Cool.
And just proving to Google, hey, I'm real, I exist, I'm quote unquote active
Yeah.
on Google,
And just a little hint of one of the things that we do that local businesses or most businesses just don't think about or know about is we rename the photo before we upload it, because
Yes.
Google can read the file name. So we
Oh.
actually go in and update all the metadata inside of a photo too, which Google can read, which helps with SEO. But just for the average person, average business, just rename it to whatever service offering. So don't have the if you named JJ277.jpg.
Yeah.
If it's if you're a landscaping company, have it like mowing the lawn, and have a picture of it mowing the lawn, and then
Yeah. Mhm.
uploading it, and then
Got
even
it.
put like the city that you want to service in it. So it's like Glendale mowing lawn.
Got it.
Something as simple as that actually will help with your SEO.
And that only
Interesting.
takes a second to rename it before you put it on.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, if we lost you at metadata, And all this sounds a little bit more complicated. How could businesses, if they're looking to figure out how to navigate the world of SEO, how could they reach out to you, get in touch, figure out how you might be able to help them? What would they do?
Yeah, honestly, one of the best ways to get in contact with us or even see if we are a good fit for you, because we're very honest. You know this,
Yeah.
Thomas, and knowing us for this many years, but we'll be honest with you. We always like to deep dive, do research before we even talk to anyone to see if it's a good fit.
Yeah.
Go to our website. It's local fi SEO.com. And there are many large buttons that say work with us. And when you click on that button, it'll take you to our calendar where you can schedule an appointment. It's just a phone call to start. And like I said, we always do the research first. We like to run numbers with people and really make sure, like, can we meet or exceed your expectations
Sure.
and vice versa?
Yeah. Love
Yeah.
it. Cool. Anything else to leave our guests with?
Yeah, well, I do actually just want to talk quickly. Kim is working with on a really cool campaign right now, and I'd love for you to
Huh?
share that a little bit because I just think it's so powerful, and we're already seeing
Yeah.
like such great impact from it.
Let's hear it.
Oh, which one, Isaac? No, I think he wants me to talk about. I'm very excited that we're actually working with a lot more female-owned businesses, which is awesome. Or co-owners, like wife-husband teams,
Cool.
where the husband is in the nitty-gritty and the wife is doing all the systems and the management of everything else. I've actually gone out and found very powerful women in business entrepreneurs, and I've been interviewing them.
Cool.
So you can also reach out to me if you'd like, a feature on our website, because that's what it's come down to. I interview you, I ask you a couple questions, really to find out about their entrepreneurial journey. How
Cool.
did you get here? How are you like the owner of a concrete supply company? Go
Yeah.
you, woman. So then we turn that into a web page, and then it goes on our website, creates a backlink, which is good for SEO. That links back to your website, has your contact info. So not only are you inspiring other women by having me share their stories, but also we're featuring them, and then not only having a webpage on our website about you, but now we're also putting it on social media and tagging them, and we've really gotten a really good response on it. And honestly, it's just fun for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. You
Yeah.
lost me at backlink. No, I'm just kidding. But
Hey, I
no.
explained it.
No, but that's amazing. I love that you guys are doing that too. And
Yeah.
it's part of giving back to the businesses that you're supporting and
Mhm.
all of that. So thank you so much for being here. Thanks for all you do for the local business community. We're proud to partner. And if you're looking to get in touch with Isaac and Kim, highly recommend it. Do great work and are helping a lot of people. So thanks for being on the show
Awesome.
today.
Thank you
Can I
so
can I
much.
mention one more thing,
Do it,
Thomas?
Isaac.
We are in the process of actually launching our first podcast,
Woohoo.
which will all
Yes.
be all about how to grow your business and systemize your business and free up your time to travel more. So
Wow.
that podcast should be launching July 17th. And if you want to know more information about that, you can go to fulltimetotraveltime.com.
Amazing.
Yes.
So we're really
Amazing.
excited about that as well.
So don't think about metadata and backlinks. Time to plan that new vacation.
Well, and Arizona is a
travel.
phenomenal place to road trip. I mean,
Yeah.
you could spend years here just traveling in Arizona alone.
And
So
we travel about 6 months out of the year. We've done 40 of the 63 national parks. So how do we run a successful business and also live an incredible travel lifestyle? Find out for
Love
yourself.
it. Awesome. Well, we'll share that out with today's show as well. So you can check out more that's going on with all of you. Can't wait to hear about it. We hope you listening were inspired today, joining a couple of leaders working to leave a legacy in Arizona through doing great business. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Phoenix Business Radio X, for hosting us and all of our legacy partners at Local First. As a reminder, I'm Thomas Barr from Local First. And if you want to build a better Arizona, we really do need to connect deeply with the local businesses that make us proud to call this place home.
Thank you for listening to Arizona Good Business Radio with Local First Arizona, where entrepreneurs and local businesses come together to build stronger communities. We hope your business is inspired to take part in building a better Arizona.